Leeds United set to sell this £15 million rated defender. Manor Solomon, Joe Rodon and Junior Firpo all face injury concerns ahead of Leeds United's trip to Cardiff on the weekend. Francisco 49ers are lining up this manager as a potential replacement for Daniel Farke. Archie Gray still misses home. What's going on, everyone's budget team? Welcome back to another episode of South Stand Stories. This is, of course, we go through everything happening in and around the world of Leeds United, and we have a little talk about it. Now, the first story is surrounding Mr. Rasmus Kristensen, who is, of course, over at Eintracht Frankfurt and is withdrawing a lot of praise from their sporting director, giving Leeds United a little boost in the hopes of securing a permanent sale. Kristensen got himself a second loan move away from Ellen Road after triggering an exit clause in his contract that remained active, with Leeds failing to achieve promotion back to the Premier League. He spent last year overseas at Roma, but he decided to join Rowing Cock at Eintracht Frankfurt. He's having a good start to his campaign over there, despite the fact that I've seen him make a couple of questionable decisions on the pitch, most notoriously against Borussia Dortmund, in which he gave away a bit of a killer goal in that game with his positioning. But the local outlet Frankfurt Rundschau report that after struggling with the previous campaign, Frankfurt found a top-class player over the summer, being Rasmus Kristensen. He's impressed those in charge at the Deutsche Bank Park, particularly sporting director Timo Harden. The whole team has to work, but Kristensen and Thearta are two players that can play as either central defenders or fullbacks at a very high-quality level, he told the local media outlet. This makes it easier to change formation. He has a potential to become a fan favourite, Top Muller told German outlet Kicker recently, because he has his heart in the right place and he has the right attitude. The line marches up and down with crisp dual leadership. We are very happy with him. He is welcome to continue like this, amongst other things. Now listen, Rasmus Kristensen heart is not something that was ever questioned. That is why people thought he was going to be a fan favourite the second he signed for Leeds United. He seemed like he would fit right in at Ellen Road, but unfortunately, positional awareness and consistency throughout the season are things that have continued to plague him. So we'll see how long this keeps up for, but obviously he doesn't really have a space back at Leeds United. So getting him off for a good transfer fee is something that Leeds are definitely very interested in. Now into Manor Solomon, and there is some bad news as he is doubtful for Saturday's clash against Cardiff City. Tottenham Hotspur loanee Manor Solomon has played 2 championship matches since joining in late August, and let me tell you something, he has been phenomenal, especially last week. Oh, he looked different gravy in there, man. The way he was coming in the middle, the way he was playing the balls from the 10, coming back out wide, you just couldn't seem to get the ball off him. He seemed sharp, he seemed nimble, he seemed like he was reading the game a couple of steps ahead of everyone else. He was just a completely different gravy out there for Leeds, and having him as a miss is a big issue. Now, Adam Popey tweeted out earlier today, Leeds United winger Manor Solomon is the major injury doubt with a back problem ahead of Saturday's championship fixture at Cardiff City. Patrick Bamford expected to be involved. Now, this is coming after comments from Daniel Farke surrounding Manor Solomon, who reportedly picked up a back injury earlier on in the week. Now, as to whether he is going to miss the game on Saturday, it is not 100% confirmed either way yet. There is still hope around the club that he is going to be able to get himself fit in time, but we will have to wait and see in terms of whether he is going to be able to knock off this injury or if it's going to play a detrimental role going forward. Now, it isn't just Manor Solomon, as Daniel Farke has also named a few other players that are of concern. Obviously, Solomon is said to have picked up a back problem after playing 4 times in quick succession, which, you know, isn't probably the smartest ideas given his injury record. The fact that we've been running him into the ground this much this soon, when we had someone like Ramadzani who could have come in fresh off of a big break over the international period or international match period, it does beg a lot of questions. Now, it isn't just him. The other players are of concern are Joe Rodon, Junior Firpo, or should I say Senior Firpo, Joe Rothwell, Manor Solomon. 4 players that are all questionable. But it is stated that Farke is very optimistic that all of these players can be fit for the weekend clash against Cardiff. Now, this isn't steadying up well for Leeds because, first of all, Cardiff are in terrible form. Okay, that never ends up well for Leeds. If you come up against a side that are in terrible form, we are the trend buckers. We will give you a win, we'll give you points, we'll give you form, we'll give you momentum, whatever you want. Number 2, every single time we seem to come up against Cardiff, it always goes badly. Even under Bielsa, when we were high-flying and we were dominating teams, we were beating them 3-0 at half-time, and what happens? They come back and they draw 3-3, and then we go on a couple of losses after that. It just always seems to be Cardiff that are our bogey team. So let me know, are these injury issues something that concerns you? I do think that the only one that will potentially be missing is Manor Solomon, and I think we will replace him with Ramadzani. How do you feel about that? Is that something that you think could hinder Leeds United going forward? Now, in other news, this is the big story of the day. Leeds United are monitoring a genius Daniel Farke successor, who the 49ers are very, very, very excited about. Leeds United are continuing to monitor new managers as pressure starts to mount on Daniel Farke, according to a new report. Now, one of these new reports is coming out of the Football Insider and coming out of Pete O'Rourke. Now, this is someone who has a bit of a interesting track record with Leeds fans. Some of you out there, whenever I do bring you Pete O'Rourke stories, say, listen, this guy is full of dishwater, but at the same time, he has got a few things right in the past, so I can't knock him too much, but it is something that you are going to have to take with a pinch of salt. Now, what he is saying in this article is that Leeds are tracking Mr. Carlos Corberan. The Spaniard is set to be highly regarded by Leeds United higher-ups, which comes as no surprise, who could change their manager should results not improve under Farke. This report goes on to add that Corberan is said to have a release clause of just £2 million in his Albion contract. As well as he's being interested in Corberan's, as well as other championship sides, they also share the same feeling towards the Spaniard as he continues to impress at the Baggies. Now, the main question here is, would he even come halfway through the season in spite of this release clause? Because it still is down to the manager. Now, he is building something at West Brom. He's been there since 2022. This is the 3rd proper bite of the cherry now for promotion at West Brom, and it is something that I think he is going to want to see through at least until the end of the season. Do I see him stepping away this early in the season? No. And do I see him stepping away with 3 or 4 months to go in the season? Definitely not. Not after he's committed that much of a season in there. So if we wanted to get him, our best shot was during the summer. Even that was an outside shot, but it was our best chance to get someone like Carlos Corberan. Do I see us being able to lure him away now? No. And that is the thing that is of question to me. The financial costs that it would cost to release Farke with a couple of years left and then pay the £2 million and then pay Corberan's wages on top of it is also something that the 49ers seem reluctant to be willing to do. If you just look at our transfer window and you look at the money that was spent. Yes, I know the 140 million technically, a lot of it is over installments, etc., 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 but we still have done things very much on the cheap, and that is something that is undeniable. Now, in terms of changing managers, if we were to do the same thing, it would probably be something similar lines along the cheap as well. But Carlos Corberan is definitely a name out there. I would like to know what you guys would think. Would you be interested in Carlos Corberan? Would you want a Carlos Corberan at Leeds United? Or do you think that this is something that doesn't really make any sense to you? He's a bit of a relatively defensive manager, similar to Daniel Farke. It's not necessarily going to be the most entertaining, swashbuckling football that you're going to see. And is that something that is really even going to improve things much for you? Or are they kind of one of the same boat? Please let me know what you guys think about that news down in the comment section down below. Now, finally, Archie Gray misses home. That's right, he had a little mishap in his previous post-match interview against Coventry when he did come on and he was talking about Leeds United playing Coventry a couple of times last season. Obviously, Spurs came back with a last-minute winner, and he came over and he said, listen, this place is a typical place to come. You know, I played here last year, and even at our ground last year when I was playing, they always bring a tough game and have lots of transitions. They did well in this game, and the fans got behind them. Credit to them. But you see what he said there? Even at our ground. That's right, our kid, Archie Gray, still referring to Ellen Road as our ground. What a geezer. And it's little things like this that just make you gutted to see the fact that Leeds United let him go. Finally, EFL are finally trying to sanction Leicester City, who could potentially be staring down the barrel of a 7-point deduction, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. I don't see that really coming through because Leicester are jammy little buggers who will probably avoid it. But let me know what you guys think anyway down in the comment section down below. For now, guys, though, I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.